Bort? Oh, come on, Bort?
Mommy, buy me a license plate!
No, come along, Bort.
Are you talking to me?
No, my son is also named Bort.
Hello, and welcome to the Bort Experience, a Simpsons podcast. We're on episode 10, Homer's Night Out. I am your host, Cody Galat, and welcome to the channel. First, I just want to say thank you so much for the support. Like I said, we are averaging about 100 views on each episode. We're up to 120 subscribers last time I checked. So thank you so much for checking out the channel and supporting me. So I wanted to kind of dive into the episode. Homer's Night Out, it originally aired on Fox in the United States on March 25th, 1990, which March 25th is my birthday, not year, but my birthday. So I thought that was really cool. It was written by John Vitti and directed by Rich Moore. The chalkboard gag, I will not call my teacher hotcakes, and the couch gag, the couch collapses after the family squeezes into it, which we have seen before, which I know in later seasons they don't really repeat, but in this first season I think they've maybe repeated one or two couch gags so far. The episode summary: Bart purchases a mini spy cam and manages to take a picture of Homer dancing next to a stripper named Princess Cashmere at a co-worker strip club party. He gives copies of the pictures to his friends, and eventually the pictures start circulating around town until eventually Marge sees it. She kicks Homer out of the house, but the next day explains that she is not upset about the dancing next to a woman, but rather that Bart saw it. She demands that he take Bart and go apologize to Princess Cashmere. Homer agrees, says he is ready to start respecting women. So that's kind of like the high overview of the episode. This one I did not enjoy as much as some of the other episodes in the season. I think I kind of had mentioned that before. Here, let me adjust this. Sorry, just a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that. Camera was a little off. I just don't like the aspect of cheating, and even in the Stupid TV Be More Funny book that inspired this podcast, the writers of the show kind of admitted if they could go back, I think they would never have made this episode. There's still some good laughs, but I think it's probably one of my least favorite of the episodes so far that have been watching and then doing reviews on. Not that it was like terrible, it's just like, I don't know if there's any episode that is like completely terrible, but like I said, I haven't watched all the episodes, but I just liked it the least amount of all of them so far. I think just the aspect of cheating is very bad, and I know I guess depends on your definition, because I know people go to these kind of parties all the time, but it's just not something for me or something that I've ever partaked in. But overall, I thought Marge's response was justified in kicking Homer out or just being very mad at him. And I think the aspect of having your children see you do something, they're very observant. I have an 18-month-old son myself, and we try to teach him a lot of things, but then sometimes he'll learn things from us not even really showing him. He just sees us doing it, and they're really impressionable. And even though Bart's kind of rebellious, he still looks up to his dad Homer, and seeing him do this kind of bad thing, I think really does influence him. And I do like at least that Homer realizes his mistake and tries to make amends with Marge. And I think that's kind of a good core thing about the show, is like they try to resolve issues that affect the family. And Homer made this mistake and he tries to make amends. Even in doing so, I think one of the funnier kind of things of the episode is Marge wants Homer to take Bart and apologize to this woman. And apparently I didn't realize this, but like Springfield has like 5 or 6 different of these kind of stripper type clubs within town, which I thought was kind of funny. And he's going to each one, and everyone's really happy to see him there because of this picture that circulated. Everyone thinks Homer's like this big ladies man, swinger type guy. So I think that aspect of like Marge is like, hey, track her down, and it's almost exposing Bart to more of that kind of behavior. I think is pretty funny. It just reminds me of like when you've probably seen this on TV or you've even heard people do this where like they catch like a kid smoking a cigarette, for example, and they're like, I'm going to make you smoke this whole pack of cigarettes, and then they become addicted to it because it's like it's this weird mentality where it's like, oh, you like doing this thing that I say is bad, so I'm going to force you to do it more, and then that usually makes the person like it more. So it's just like this weird, I don't know why people do that. I think you should be able to explain like, hey, this is why you shouldn't do this activity or thing, and then explain why, but not force the person to do that activity to make them not want to do it. It just seems kind of counterproductive. But I like that aspect. I thought it was funny. But overall, I don't know. This one, like I said, it was kind of low for me in terms of just my overall um, enjoyment of it. There was a few laughs, but I just kind of was like, It was kind of the weakest episode, like I've said, of the season so far. So I kind of don't really have a ton more to say about it. One thing I did kind of like at the beginning, it started like there was like a 6 month kind of like flashback as Bart is waiting on his spy camera that he orders, and Homer, is worried about his weight or whatever. And I don't think that's funny per se, but I think it's funny that the guy who's his assistant 6 months later becomes his manager, and then they're going to his party, um, and the guy feels very uncomfortable, and he's being very like loving towards his dad, and like he's really excited about getting married, and then Lenny, or I think Carl hires the Princess Cashmere. Oh, and one thing I will point out, we're going to get to the citizens of Springfield, the voice actors in this episode. Lenny and Carl did not sound like them at all, which I know they're still kind of finding their voice, but Carl did not sound like his normal voice at all. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So we'll go ahead and move on to that next segment, which I alluded to, Citizens of Springfield. We have Dan Costanella as Homer Simpson, Barney Gumble, and then the Rusty Barnacle waiter. Interesting thing, I don't think I ever realized, or if I did, I kind of forgot. They mentioned like the Flintstones in this episode. I think when Homer is in the Quickie Mart, he mentions the Flintstones because I think Apu is like, "Hey, were you on TV?" And I think Homer says something like, "No, you must be thinking of the Flintstones." And the Flintstones, of course, was a really famous like cartoon. I think from like the 50s or 60s, or I think it was like the 60s, maybe 70s. And I think a lot of people like, "Oh, you'll never have another cartoon that was successful like the Flintstones," and the Simpsons come along. So I think that's kind of like an inside joke. But then also Homer's best friend Barney, I never really put two and two together until just now, or like I said, I forgot that. Oh, in the Flintstones, Fred Flintstone, his best friend, his name is Barney, and I'm sure that's 100% intentional. I just never realized that, so I thought that was a really cool, like kind of light bulb moment for me as I was watching the episode. We have Julie Carvener as Marge Simpson, Nancy Cartwright as Bart Simpson, Yardley Smith as Lisa Simpson. We have Harry Shearer as Charles Montgomery Burns, Waylon Smithers, Reverend Timothy Lovejoy. We have Sam McMurray as Gulliver Dark. We have Hank Azarian as Mo Sizlak, Lenny Leonard Apu, Man in the Audience, number one. And then we have Pamela Hayden as Millhouse Van Houten, Joanne Harris as Martin Prince and Lewis Clark, and then Maggie Roswell as Princess Cashmere. The MVP of the episode, it was hard to pick because it mainly focused on Homer, so I'm leaning towards Homer. I think that's eventually who I'll give it to. I think Marge was pretty strong in the episode in terms of not just like letting it happen and just saying it's okay, but kind of like chastising Homer and making her feelings known. So I would give it Homer and Marge. I think both kind of deserve credit because I think they're just kind of the spotlight of the episode. The best joke. So a little kind of commentary on this before I give the actual line. So Homer is at the last place where Princess Cashmere is performing. It's like kind of like those dancers you see like in Las Vegas. I've never been to Las Vegas, but like in movies where they're kind of wearing like those big feather hats and they're doing like the leg kicks. I'm not really even sure. I'm sure there's an official term for what that kind of dancing is called, but he's at one of those performances and he falls, and they're all dancing around him, and he's kind of getting into it. And earlier in the episode, Mr. Burns has Homer in his office alone. He's like, "Tell me your secret. Tell me." Pretty much like Mr. Burns hasn't really been with that many ladies and is trying to get the secret. And we get this great joke kind of towards the end of the episode. Mr. Burns, how does he do it, Smithers? Smithers, he's a love machine, sir. And I don't know why, but I found it so funny. Just also because I know how Smithers and Burns' relationship, uh, you know, changes a lot in future seasons. So you kind of get that idea of like, what Smithers is saying. And I just felt like the delivery was so funny. And even though it's not one of those like belly laughs, I just thought it was a really great one line or, two lines for a joke. And I just thought it was, pretty fantastic. Okay, so we're going to move on to our last segment of the episode. We have trivia, which I've been enjoying reading. And I check out my clips because usually I'll post a trivia clip first and then the full episode. So check those out, before the full episode drops. So we got, what does Homer do with the Stonecutter's sacred parchment? Make a paper airplane? Use it as a napkin, or flushes it? All right, we'll read the question and give you some time. What does Homer do with the Stonecutter's sacred parchment? Make a paper airplane? Uses it as a napkin, or flushes it? And I know this happens in a future season, but this is another fantastic episode. I believe Patrick Stewart voices the main leader of the Stonecutters, and there's some great episodes in this golden age, and I can't wait to get to them and have discussions with everyone. So the answer is use it as a napkin. But overall, like I said, kind of a weaker episode. That's why I don't have too much more to say about it. But overall, I'm still enjoying the show. We just had episode 10, so we're getting really close to the end of the season. I believe there's 13 episodes, and I'm so proud of myself for, this has been tough. I started a new job recently, and I just don't have as much time, but I'm still making a really good effort to do the podcast because I'm enjoying it so much, and I get so much like creative enjoyment out of making the thumbnails, watching the episode, writing the notes, and just having fun with everyone. So thank you so much. Also point out I have a new Simpsons shirt. I believe, like I said, I need to do the official counter, but I think we're on maybe 6 or 7 shirts. It's kind of perfect for getting close to the Hollywood season. My wife got me this, and thank you so much to her. So, but until next time, peace out.